What's up, y'all? I am back, okay? It's your Tiana, and I want to talk a little bit about this Jerry Springer documentary, child. A hot-ass mess, okay? Jerry Springer. This was a wild documentary, and I guess because I never knew behind the scenes of Jerry Springer, and I grew up in that Jerry Springer era. Like, that was our shit. I wasn't able to watch Jerry Springer in the daytime. I didn't even know it came on in the daytime. But I would definitely try to catch that mug at night, okay? All the time. It was wild. It was crazy. It was just hella entertaining. Like, you just never knew what you were gonna get. You never knew what you was gonna get. The segments were crazy, okay? The names of the segments were even worse. Listen, Jerry Springer started off in politics is insane to me. Insane. This show being a political show and completely transformed it a good 180, okay? And said, fuck politics. We finna talk about this ratchet shit. Jerry Springer was off the chain. Let me tell you. Oh, boy. I remember, like, strippers. I remember one part of Jerry Springer where they would always bring the strippers out. Like, it was a pole on stage, and the strippers would just come out dancing, okay? And I don't know if this was, like, the end of the episode or what, but literally every episode, they would always have strippers. Like, I remember two little people always fighting. Like, the show was bananas. The show would have been absolutely canceled if it was going on right now today. If what they did back then in the early 2000s, if they did that now, that would not be a Jerry Springer show. I'm telling you right now. Way too much. And I'm not even a counsel type of person. I don't even think like that. Whatever, that people do what they do. If you don't like it, just move along. Somebody, whatever. Jerry would have been canceled as fuck, okay? But for me, it started off as a political talk show. It's insane. But that just lets you know what type of person Jerry ultimately was. So pretty sure he was a smart man. His daughter vouched for him at the end, but I'm pretty sure he was a smart man. Knew a lot, but that fame, that money, that will make you just really turn extremely evil. But to know that the executive producer, Richard Dominic, was like the evil genius behind it all. That man was wicked as hell. Sick, demented, just oh my goodness, just a dark entity, honestly. I really like the fact that he did get on the documentary and talked a lot about how he pushed the show to be what it was. And I think that that's great accountability. You know, they did have awesome ass ratings, so you really can't say like, oh, he drove the show, you know, through a ditch or downhill, anything. Like, he got that show to pop, and it popped, okay? But Richard Dominic first started off in the tabloids, made hella sense to me. I remember going to grocery stores with my mom and just picking up a National Enquirer and like seeing the most random ass titles on these magazines. And I would always think, like, is this true? Like, what is this? You know, like, this sounds crazy. And I was a kid, you know, it's like I am a kid. I'm picking this paper up and I'm like, this is bogus as hell. But it makes a lot of sense that he worked for the tabloids because he ultimately brought tabloid segments onto the Jerry Springer show, which was good. I mean, I am not knocking it at all. I feel like there's always something for somebody. Smut TV is always going to make it, period. I like a little smut TV. I'll watch a Love and Hip Hop here, or I'll watch, I used to love Bad Girls Club. Now the Baddies whole thing, I'm not a big fan of that. As I've grown a little bit more, I don't want to tune in to people just fighting. And I feel like y'all moving into a house just to fight is some crazy ass shit for me. But if the checks are good, if this is what y'all want, do your thing, baby. Do your thing. But Richard Dominic is an extremely twisted man. He worked for the tabloids at first. Then he came to the Jerry Springer show and drove the numbers up, okay? They even talked about how Jerry was up there with Oprah. And that's insane because the Oprah show was it, okay? The Oprah show was it. The Oprah show was it so much that she had her magazine. Eventually, she came out with her own television channel. Like, the Oprah show had it going the hell on, okay? You get a car. You get a car. But, yeah, he drove those numbers up in some sick-ass ways. And I want to say, you know, it started off, the documentary started off with the Shetland pony. The man was married to a pony. Fucking nuts, okay? Insane. Kissing the pony in the mouth and shit. But, I mean, PETA would have been on their ass. PETA, why was PETA not on their ass anyway when it came to this? Like, it's so much shit that the Jerry Springer show was able to skate by. Like, I just really cannot understand it. So I was watching a documentary in complete awe. Like they did, you know, they were doing X, Y, and Z. Like, this is crazy. This is crazy to me. Another takeaway I had from the documentary was about them rehearsing with the sorry y'all, I'm drawing blanks, goodness gracious, rehearsing with those coming on to the show. And I thought that was I thought that directly correlated me to reality TV when I always say scripted reality, because it's not like, you know, you're reading a script and you're like, oh, okay, all right, so we're gonna talk about this and then we're gonna fight and then yeah, we you know, I'm gonna say this to her, I'm gonna spit on her. Like, no, that's not what happens. What happens is they say, okay, I know you don't like X, Y, and Z. I know X, Y, and Z don't like you either. So y'all gonna go to this party together and I want you to confront her about her talking to your man, or I want you to confront him about what you did to X, Y, and Z. Like, that's really how these reality TV shows go. They know you don't like each other, so they're going to make an event to where you're now going to have to sit with this person and talk about whatever the hell y'all got going on, and they hoping that it gives them really good ratings. And the Jerry Springer, that shit just confirmed it for me when I believe his name was Yoshimura had said, like, you know, he would go into the dressing room and throw a chair against the wall, you know, just kind of get their adrenaline pumping before they actually go out. And I honestly, when I look or when I think back to the Jerry Springer episodes and how, like, the confrontations used to be really like, well, damn, baby, why you so mad? You know, you kind of just be like, ooh, you upset or you feisty or what is going on? You know, you done came all this way to make it to this studio and you got all of this anger inside of you in between time. Like, what the hell? That made a lot of sense, though. Making, you know, getting their adrenaline running, getting them extremely upset about whatever, you know, is going on, and then throwing them out on stage so that they can talk about it. Man, listen, they had the formula down fucking packed, okay? They had the formula down packed. It may have done some evil. It may have ruined some lives. But that show did what it was supposed to do. It did what it was supposed to do. My favorite part of the Jerry Springer show would be when it was all over. Everybody came out and had their portion and had their say-so and confront and all of these things, or, you know, shocking the audience or whatever. And then they would bring them all out everybody who was on the show. They bring them all out, line them up on the stage and make them sit, you know, right next to each other on the stage and let the audience say something or ask a question or like talk about them. I used to love that part. Oh my goodness. I used to love it. I could not wait for an audience member or someone, a part of the audience, to say something to one that I thought was hella insane or hella crazy or stupid or whatever. Like, I was just waiting for somebody to say this, what I was thinking. And they used to get into it with the audience and used to be, I remember them like even coming and fighting. Like, they just be running up on each other. Like, when I say the Jerry Springer show had it, okay? It really had it. It had all of us in the chokehold. Like, the smut TV of it all started with Jerry. I cannot deny that. You really cannot. That was good as TV. Maury's show too was pretty good. It was more on the mature side of things, but it still gave that whole baby daddy, baby mama type shit. You know, it really pushed that through. The thing that I did not like about the Jerry Springer show, which I found out watching this documentary, was that they would bring the guest on and they would tell them, oh, you know, we're bringing you on, you know, we're going to fix this or we're going to do X, Y, Z for you. And never really did that for them. So it was like they bribed them to bring them on, but whatever they bribed them with, they never got that in return. Never. And then these people weren't even paid for this. I always thought that people went on these shows to get paid. I did. I thought that maybe they were getting like $100. Mind you, I'm a kid. So I'm thinking like maybe they was getting like $100, you know, to come on this show and, you know, clown and fight and do all of this and then to go home. No, they were getting these people train tickets to come, or was it plane tickets? I don't know. But they was getting them transportation to come to Chicago to film, tape, and then to go back home. They were not paying these people anything. They were not compensating these people at all. And when it all boils down to it, it even got really scandalous with Nan and Ralph. So I just think that was crazy. So what happened with Nan and Ralph in the documentary was that Nan found Ralph. He lived in Germany, and then she met him through AOL chat line. They need a documentary on that AOL chat line. That's what they need to do. But whatever. They met through the AOL chat line. He came to the country shortly after that. They got married. After that, I want to say he left her. He abused her. He hit her. He was violent towards her, left her, and I guess moved on to someone else. And so what Nan decided to do was to go on the Maury show, and Maury not moved on to somebody else. He was supposed to get deported. Ralph was supposed to get deported back to Germany. And what happened was Nance went to the Jerry Springer show to see if, you know, I guess get on there. And they told her, well, you know, we'll help bring him back here. You guys can have a conversation about, you know, being together. And, you know, we'll see if this can reconcile anything. And we'll just pay for him to come back. And, you know, we'll pay all the fees and all of these things. And when Nan came on the show, she was confronted by another woman who I guess was dating Ralph already. But come to find out, her and Ralph, and I want to say her name was Ellie. I may be wrong. If I am, sorry. But come to find out, Ellie and Ralph had already been married. And that basically Nan was coming in between them when, you know, the whole time Nan is thinking that, you know, Ralph has some other things going on when it came to, you know, him being an immigrant here in America it's a mess. It was a mess. But then turn around, he was already married to Ellie. Nan decided to leave. And I really, 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 really liked how she handled herself on the show. And this is where it was dark to me, and where I feel like Jerry really did his job how he was supposed to, but it was really, really dark. You know, they're sitting on stage and they're confronting Nan like she's with him, you know. So, you know, she's telling you that she's with him. They're telling you that they're this and they're that, and that he wants to be with her. You know, what are you going to say? What are you going to do about that? This is Jerry asking Nan these questions, and Nan is kind of just sitting in her chair, and she's just looking, you know, she's looking really confused, really kind of afraid, but not really wanting to show it either. I've seen that a lot in people, you know, to kind of be nervous and afraid, but still try to put on like a brave front. So she's sitting there giving this brave front, and Jerry's just asking and asking away. And eventually Nan is like, I don't care. You know, whatever. I don't care. Gets up and walks off. She walks backstage. They said that they tried to convince her like, hey, if you don't, you know, come back, you know, we are not going to pay for your flight back home to Florida. Nan said, fuck that shit. Nan was like, fuck that shit. She got her shit. She left. She was walking in the streets of Chicago. And luckily, you know, a really good Samaritan saw her, pay for her train ticket to go back to Florida. Back in Florida, Nan is really trying to get herself together. This is for her son. She's really trying to get herself together. She's, you know, just taking steps and just trying to, you know, do better with her life. And I'm pretty sure after an embarrassing moment like that, all you really want to do is just forget about the dumb shit. That's all I would have wanted to do. You know what I'm saying? When some embarrassing shit happens to me and other people don't even see it, I'm still trying to forget about the dumb shit, you know, to myself. But she just so happened to be national, baby, all on the TV. Her son states that, you know, she tried to get herself together. She tried to move on with her life. Ralph ended up coming back in her life. Ralph ended up having the same goddamn patterns, ended up hurting her. And yeah, you know, it just was a mess. So he was back. She bought them a house. He put his hands on her again, and she said, fuck this for real, left him, and was done with it. Ralph came back and killed that lady. Ralph came back to kill that lady. And what I hate about this, so I can see where Jerry Springer's show could potentially be responsible. Like, you know, because antagonizing a situation instead of letting it kind of do its thing naturally, you know, I guess, you know what I'm saying? But you cannot blame the Jerry Springer show for his actions in killing her. He didn't kill her because he was embarrassed on the show. If anything, I would think that if it was the other way around, then it was because of the show. So if she killed him when she got back to Florida and he followed her down there and she, you know, stumped his ass out like he did her, then I would say, okay, that was because of the show. She was embarrassed on the show. You know, they embarrassed her really, really bad. She killed them for the embarrassment. That's where I would be with that. But for it to be him who killed her, he embarrassed her on that show, I'm not blaming the Jerry Springer show for that shit. Not at all. You just really can't. You can't. You know, the man is angry. The man was upset. She didn't want to be with him anymore. And I kind of get the fact that maybe she was, you know, cashing out on this man. Like, he was from another country. She brought him here, you know, doing all of these things, trying to make sure he's good. I'm going to assume that Nan was cashing out on him and he was losing his shit because he was not able to take advantage of Nan any longer. But I think that was so horrible. I think just the whole domino effect from the show and then that happening and, you know, all of that. I think that that's really, really sad. And I was wondering, why do we see her son talking about this so much? Where is Nan? And I did not know that it was going to get to the point to where Nan was murdered. That was insane to me. That was insane to me. But yeah, you know, they basically exploited these people for entertainment, and they didn't pay these people for that shit, you know? And even more so, they lied to these people about that shit. So I just think that that was the really fucked up thing about the Jerry Springer show. You're getting ratings, you're making money, and your show is a hit. Your show has been a hit, but yet, you know, you're not compensating these people for their troubles. You're not compensating them. You're giving them a goddamn plane ticket and a hotel and maybe some food, and that's it. That's all. So I think that that's really, really goddamn dark of the Jerry Springer show, for real, for real. If you know, if I'm being honest, I will say no, because this is dark too, but I will say they were progressive when it came to, like, you know, queers, especially, you know, trans women. And, you know, it just was really, it had a really big queer element in it. And I'll give it that. But it still was not the best because, you know, you would have a trans woman on the show confessing to her lover that, you know, she was born a man, and then all of a sudden a fight will break out, and, you know, he'd be fighting her and beating her ass because of the information she just told him. So in a way, it was a little bit forward moving, but a lot of it was still very much demeaning. You know, it still was very much evil, demeaning, and dark. Yeah, I will say the Jerry Springer show was the metamorphosis of reality TV. The Jerry Springer show was the metamorphosis of reality TV. Like I said, you had these scripted reality, you know, we're going to put you two in a room, and you guys are going to, you're going to talk to them about this. You're going to argue with her. You know, you're going to stand your ground. You're going to, you know, say it like you mean it. When they showed them, like, really going back and forth with, you know, the people who were coming on the show and what they were supposed to be confronting the others about, I'm just like, goodness, you know, they really wanted those ratings. But yeah, I thought that was crazy. I do think that the Jerry Springer show really was the metamorphosis to reality TV. It is insane how much of fighting we love. We love it. We love fighting. Bum fights back then was a big ass thing. Like you would have a videotape, a VHS of people fighting that are homeless. You know what I'm saying? Like, exploiting people was huge back then, and it was not right, but there was nothing to reel it in like that, you know? So a lot of people got away with a lot of shit, you know, in the early 2000s because they didn't have social media, or they didn't have phones and cameras and all of that that's just easily accessible right now to say, look at what they're doing. This is wrong. This is bad. Or, you know, it just wasn't like that back then. And I can appreciate it. I absolutely can appreciate it. But y'all should have been paying them motherfuckers. They should have been paying them people. I still feel like whoever was on the Jerry Springer show is entitled to compensation. That's just what I feel. I just really feel like that. We're watching a documentary about a dark ass show about what they did to people, things that transpired even after the show, and how they got people to come on. Them people need to be compensated for that. I got PTSD, Your Honor. I don't like it. I can't really sleep too much because I just remember this person attacking me, beating me in the head. And, you know, because she was messing with my man. She messing with my man and she was beating my ass. Like, these people deserve some compensation for this shit. A wild ass time, indeed. Yeah, I mean, what do y'all think? Was, you know, I'm pretty sure, like, I'm 35, so I know, you know, whoever's watching this, you know, I'm pretty sure we're around the same age. What did y'all think about Jerry Springer? And also, were you guys watching Jerry Springer back in like 2015, 2016, and, you know, even like 2012? Like, was y'all still watching Jerry Springer? Because I know probably when they came out with other shows, Jerry just wasn't it for me. And so, like Bad Girls Club came out when I was in high school. And so we would just watch Bad Girls Club. You know, Jerry Springer, I wasn't really trying to watch Jerry Springer any longer. I think it was one of those shows where it was really, really good when I was a kid. It was forbidden, basically. You know, I'm sure if my mom came in my room and seen me watching Jerry Springer, she probably would have made me turn it off, you know? So it was kind of like forbidden, and which made it even more interesting to watch and more interesting to tune in. But once I got in like high school, you know how you kind of just start moving around and shit. It was like, what? You know, that still come on. I didn't know Jerry Springer was on until 2018. Like 2018 is crazy for Jerry Springer to still be going on. And then I think even Steve Wilkos even had a show or whatever. And I want to say his show was a little bit more serious. And then Steve Wilkos was the security for Jerry Springer, the big ball guy. He was the security guard or main security for Jerry, who basically gained a lot of popularity through the Jerry Springer show, to ultimately get his own show. So kudos to Steve, you know. I love to see anybody flourish, anybody just get, you know. But yeah, tell me what y'all think, you know, about the documentary. If y'all watched it, how you feel about it. It was dark. It definitely was dark. It definitely was a time, though. You have to take a lot of the good with the bad, for sure. But I would say without Jerry Springer, we probably wouldn't have a lot of fight TV. Like Zeus right now is definitely a direct link from Jerry Springer. What Zeus is now is definitely comes from Jerry Springer. So yeah, tell me in the comments. Let's get the discussion going. Bye.